So, I got a request from this guy, Bendeturino 5316, and a couple of people they were interested in this SDR stuff. I'd posted a bunch of videos in the past, so what I did, people seem to enjoy it, so I actually threw together a playlist, which will be in the description for this. It's all the SDR videos that I've done in the past. There's so much cool shit that you can do with SDR. You're going to see in the playlist if you decide you want to go watch it, if you haven't already seen it. I actually had, I was going to do a demonstration tonight to show how to do the Tempest SDR stuff. And that's where you can literally tap into the electromagnetic radiation coming off of the HDMI cables. And there's a lot of people that didn't believe it. They're like, you're just using a filter and remote desktop. No, no, you can literally capture it just using an SDR. So, quick thing before I go here. The one that I used, this one's really famous. It's the Hack RF1 by Great Scots Gadgets. There's a whole history there that you can read up on. And basically, I don't want to say any wrong information, but I think it was a Realtek chip that opened up the gate for all these really smart people, and they realized, holy, we can use this and we can start listening into all sorts of frequencies, whatever we want to do. That's why it's software defined, because this thing can read an entire range. It can communicate both sending and receiving. That's one thing if you're looking at SDRs. Does it have the ability to send and receive? There's so much stuff you can do. If you want to get your radio license, you can get into Fourier transforms, fast Fourier transforms, if you want to get really mathematical, and it's way over my head. But this is what that guy looked like when I bought it. This is now an empty case because I decided to make it look all stealth and cool. I actually wish I'd kept this on because it's got all the labeling on it. I don't even know the extent of everything that you can do with this, but these are all powered by, like, basically through USB. So that's the more expensive model. This one is capable of sending and receiving. Again, go to Google it. Don't Google it. DuckDuckGo it. Next, your best option is to get an actual RTL SDR, and that RTL, that's the Realtek part of it. Watch out for knockoffs. It's just, again, you're gonna have to do your research. There's all sorts of variants. I also got this one called NESDR. It's a Smarty, and these guys, like I say, if you get an OTG, an on-the-go cable, you can actually, and again, I was trying to get this all working because I haven't pulled this stuff out in years, but you can literally just plug this guy into your phone and you just even want to listen to the radio, but you can track aircraft, you can, all sorts. So you've got a lot of options when it comes to SDRs. I think these guys are like 30 or 40 bucks, something like that. I think this one was maybe 200. I'm talking Canadian dollars. Another thing is you're going to be wondering about what else is your antennas. There's a whole field in and of itself. You have to really start reading about the physics, wavelengths, and all, again, stuff that's way out of my league, about the different antenna types that you get and the different connectors that they all have. Just your basic antennas. Something like this would normally, these are your old rabbit ears from your old TVs. This was my attempt at, you can actually read from the NOAA weather satellites. There's NOAA and there's a couple other ones. Again, go read the math, but this antenna is supposed to be angled at exactly 120 degrees, but then you have to do some math for how long you want your antennas to be out. And when you do that, and you have to look at where you are on the Earth, and this is all available through software, you have to go at a certain time. It'll tell you when these NOAA satellites are passing over, and you can literally pull directly from the satellites uh, weather imagery of the Earth as the satellite's passing over. And it's going so fast, you even have to account for the Doppler effect, the Doppler shift. It's so cool. But you have to put this up. You have to have like a clear line of sight. It's crazy. You have to have it pointed in the right direction. It's freaking cool. What else? What else? There's so much stuff to go through. Yeah. Get yourself some key fobs for your car. That's the spectrum. North America, you're at 315 megahertz, and Europe, I think, you're 433. If you want to track aircraft, they have transponders, I guess that'd be that. It's called ADS-B. That, I guess, is being phased out for a more secure method. I kind of know that sort of from the skydiving world, but also from this. That one's on 1090 megahertz. You can get apps right on your phone. Again, and there's an app called like ADS-B 1090. That's for tracking aircraft. You'll see that's where you go for like your flight radar 24. That's all done through collectively people tracking ADS-B on 1090 all over the world, and it just is put into one website. One of the interesting videos that I have for that, you can actually get one of the old versions of Microsoft Sim, Microsoft Flight Sim, and you can track an aircraft, and it has real, keep in mind, it's like one of the original flight sims, so it's old, but it'll put your actual real world map of this plane flying around, and you can tell if it's flying a jumbo jet or a hang glider, like whatever, you make it, but I made it a little Cessna, and it literally was flying around my city in flight sim, and I could be like, oh yeah, it's flying over the river right now. And kind of one of the cool things, back then, one of these aircraft that was flying around the city, you know, I guess they're trying to be under the radar. That was so not intentional. But they did not allow themselves to be on the Flight Radar 24 publicly visible thing, but I was able to track them. Anyway, they're now visible on there, so it's not a thing. What else? Oh yeah. So with the key fob stuff, the whole reason that I got into this in the first place, I do IT work, and they came to me one day saying, "Hey, our key fobs are not really working. What the hell? Like, is it the Wi-Fi that you guys just installed or whatever?" So I had to figure this all out without giving out like whatever. If you watch it, great. What it was there. I learned about all this SDR stuff and the range that these key fobs work on. And sure enough, what it ended up being was a aftermarket car starter that was just going ballistic, and it was just basically jamming all their fobs. So that was interesting. And then the finale, that Tempest, I was going to set it all up and try and do an actual proper, this is how you do it, this is how you set it up. Basically, I will add this link. I'm going to make a little note. Add the link for the one-click. There's a one-click installer that you can use. As long as you get the drivers installed for this, which in itself, there's a little software suite for that. But once you got your drivers in order, you should have this one-click installer. It runs, and it's just a matter of fiddling with the knobs until you start getting an image. Anyway, that's it. That was for you there, Mr. Sir, asking for some SDR interception stuff for your thesis. And I will try and put together something a little more tangible. But I pulled it out and I overwhelmed myself. So that's it. See ya.